Hello everyone and welcome back for the second part of this Streamlit mini-series. So now we will actually dive into what's actually important and what's pretty hard. There are lots of content out there how to actually create a Streamlit app, but what many don't show you is how you need to version control it to make sure that it's stable over time, if something crashes or if something doesn't work out as you expect it to. Or if you are multiple people working on the same app, or somebody else need to take over the app over some time, you need versioning control. It's a hygiene minimum. It's a bare minimum. And after that as well, you can use the GitHub repo to be able to push it into a different virtual machine. So we will use AWS in this case. So you log into AWS, you spin up a virtual machine, and it will be able to run your Streamlit application 24/7. So this is amazing for being able to show it off to your team, and you can iterate quickly. You can run it locally in like your own local, just develop it. So you have like a dev, and then you have a prod on this AWS virtual machine. So I hope you're just as excited as I am for this episode. But let's dive in. Deploying your Streamlit application is a crucial part of delivering value to your stakeholders. In this guide, I will show you how to do it and what you will need in order to follow this guide. You will need a GitHub account, you will need an AWS account, and you need a Streamlit application such as this one on the left-hand side. If you don't have one, I've created a previous blog post which you can check out on my own website. Look into the description below and you will find it. So the overview of what we will do, we will have a Streamlit application in our local environment here in VS Code, and we will push it to GitHub. And then later from there, we will create a GitHub PAT, or a personal access token, which will allow you to access your repo from a distant external entity, basically. So you will be able to access your GitHub repo from this AWS EC2. So we will create a EC2 as well, and we will go into this one. We will access the GitHub repo, fetch it, and then we will run it from this AWS EC2. And when we have it up and running, all of a sudden our stakeholders are able to access it from the World Wide Web. Fantastic. So the first step is basically to create a new GitHub repo. I've actually already created one, so I have it under here. It's called Streamlit Base. It doesn't have any specific settings. If you go into this new GitHub repo, you can see that I basically just put in Streamlit Base here and a small description that said it's a deployment for Streamlit applications. So that's basically it. So you don't need to fill in anything else here. You can also create a private repository if you're interested in that. It might be some sensitive data that your Streamlit application is involving, and in that case you can create a private repository. But for mine, I think I will just keep it public. So that's great. Okay, so the next step is to create a GitHub personal access token. So we will do that by following this link, or otherwise from GitHub you can also press your way forward. Go to your account, you go to your settings, and then you go to developer settings. It's at the bottom. And then go to tokens, go to new. So here you can type in a reason. So what's this token for? Streamlit deployment. We will simply keep it at that, and it will expire sometime. I guess we can let it expire in 30 days or so. And it only needs access to the repos, and that's it. Generate a new token, and you will get a new token here. So I will just keep this as a temporary one. It will look something like the following, and make sure that you copy this and save it somewhere safe. So that's great.
So that's the fourth step here. It's really, really crucial that you save your token on a safe location. So the next step is to go to AWS EC2. So we will go to AWS, log into your account, and then you will go to EC2, which is basically like the virtual private servers. If you're familiar with those, it's if you need like a mental model to navigate this, EC2 is basically like your own desktop running, but it's running on AWS. So you have a external computer that's running in a different place. You're able to access it through your terminal, and you can execute commands on it and basically do whatever you want, really. And it's really useful if you want to host a Streamlit application or a website or something else that needs to run on the World Wide Web. And a large part of the internet is actually run on AWS. So don't be shy to get familiar with these tools, because you will use them in the future. So launch an instance. So here we'll create a virtual machine and run it on the cloud. So what will we call it? We will call it a Streamlit deployment. Yeah, I think that's good enough. So AWS, they have tons of free eligible tiers, and you can basically use this Amazon hosted machines, and they're basically free. So yeah, so if you're just doing testing, such as what I usually do, you can basically do it for free. And otherwise, after roughly a year, it will cost you like $5 a month or something like that. So it's not very expensive. But keep in mind to actually shut down your computers after some time. So this is one of the important steps. You need to choose this free tier, create a new key pair. So a key pair is used for you to be able to identify yourself towards the machine. So the machine is at an external place, of course, and in order for the machine to understand that you are you, you need some kind of identification. So it's like a security key. So let's create a new key. We'll call it Streamlit key pair. I think I already have created one key pair, so let's call it Streamlit key pairs 2. I have already created one, so I think I have to go with 2 for this video. So we will change this later, the network settings. It's not fantastic to have it accessible from anywhere. You can change this. You can go down this drop down and shows your own IP. That's better, because usually you will only it will basically tell AWS that you only want to access your machine from your home IP, or it can also be like your office or something like that. So great. So now we have an instance. Let's launch it. It will take some time by launching it. So let's see if we have it up and running. Okay, so this is the one that we just created. We will go into it, see that everything seems to be working fine. That's great. So it's a Linux machine. We can see it's running. Yeah, nothing all too exciting here. So the next, I've already basically done all these steps now. The next step is changing the networking settings. So you want Streamlit, it seems to be running on a specific port. So because of this, we need to change the security. So we can basically search for security here, and there should be something connected to EC2 here. Security groups. That's great. So let's go to that. Let's see if it's loading properly. Come on, AWS. Usually you work, but sometimes you don't. Security groups. Perhaps if I be very specific. Oh, that's the wrong one, actually. I can go here as well. Sneaky. Okay, so that's great. Let's go and create a new security group. So security group name, what should we call it? Streamlit deploy security group allows stakeholders to reach Streamlit app. Okay, so that's basically what it does. So now we have some inbound rules and we have some outbound rules. So inbound rules, I think we will follow this my own guide. So the inbound rules are supposed to be SSH and custom TCP, and it's on the ports 22 and 8501. Okay, custom TCP port range. We'll do this. Custom source type. Don't think we need to add anything else here. And then we can just go with SSH. That's great. Outbound rules. Superb. Great. I don't think we need to change anything else, right? No, it looks great. So, okay, so let's save this. Create the security group. Okay, we have to add this. It basically tells them that they can, if you are on this port, you can access from anywhere, I guess. It works. Fantastic. Okay, so let's go back to the instances. And we will do this step. We will apply the security group to the instance. So we go in here. This is the instance that we created, and the next step here is, let's check here, security. So we go to actions, security, change security groups, and it seems to be having a security group already. We can remove that, and here we have Streamlit deploy security group. Add security group and save it. Stunning. Okay, so now I guess we should be able to connect to it right now. We should be able to connect to it. So, all right. So the next step here is to use the information provided by AWS in order to connect to the machine. So the way we do this is that we locate the file that we downloaded earlier, the key pairs that we talked about. I can show you. It was the one that we were downloading right here. You create a key pair, you download it, and now we need to keep it in a specific folder. So, and we will basically do some steps that look like this. So, yeah, so the way we do this is I have my key here in desktop. So the way I will do this, I will type chmod 400 and it will be streamlit key pairs to pem. And that seems to work. It doesn't give me an error. It seems to have been finding the specific file I've been looking for. So the next thing we will do is we will connect to the instance. So we use an SSH in order to do this. We can basically just copy whatever they have provided, and it will give you a warning because it cannot be established that this is a secure thing, but as you have created it, it is secure. So just do it. So here you can see we're inside AWS EC2. It seems to be working. That's outstanding. So the next step now is we can look into this useful commands. You have ls, for example, which lists all files in the directory, and we have cd for changing directory. We have yum install, sudo nano, cat, and some other things which are really useful. So now we will pull our GitHub repo from into AWS. So the first thing we will do now is just type sudo yum install git/all, or yeah, something like that. So is this okay? Yes, install everything. I love it. And now we will configure it. I don't actually think we need to do that. So I think this one is over the top. We don't need that. I don't think so. So let's just try this. And we will need our key. So do you remember the key that we had earlier? Yeah, so we have a key and it is located right here. So I've copied mine and we will take it and do it like this. And it worked. Outstanding. So now we can type ls and we will see that we have a brand new folder. It's called Streamlit base, and that's just outstanding. So now we have a external machine. It has our files in it, and that's just great. So we can jump into it and see what it has to do. So here we can see we have a streamlit.py. That's great. So as you know, you can I don't actually think we have, no, we need to install Streamlit. So let's do that. So we install Streamlit. I think I will need matplotlib as well. And matplotlib, if I recall correctly, it will download the other dependencies as well. So I have, for example, I have NumPy as a dependency as well for this specific one. And when this one is finished, we will just run that real quickly. And when it's finished, we will try to run it. Streamlit. Okay, wow, it seems to work. It's outstanding. Okay, so now here we have an external URL which we will be able to paste into our. Wow, it works on. So it's available now on the internet. So now anybody can access this. So it will not be accessible when you watch this. This is due to I will probably not keep it up. But it seems to work, so that's just outstanding. But so one thing to keep in mind here is, so if you shut down this this machine, everything will be terminated. So that's really bad. So what you will do now is you will actually install something that's called tmux. So you will run sudo yum install tmux. And tmux, what it does, it allows you to create an external session. So you can have the machine run the Streamlit application all the time, no matter if somebody's connected or not. So it will keep and process a process alive, basically. So you create a new session, and then you run the Streamlit application again. And what you can see now is that this this IP address that you see right here, it will be alive all the time. So even if I shut down my terminal right now, it will be alive and up and running, and it will be up and running until you shut it down. So I will shut it down. You can shut it down as well by just pressing Control-C. Really useful. And so let's see if I want to leave this. I want to connect once again. So let's say I say exit. And I say exit again. I leave AWS basically. Now I'm on my machine again. And if I reconnect to it, and if I can attach the session then by running tmux attach tstream session. There actually is no session. Okay, so we have to actually create a new one. Yes, so it ran. Let's keep this up. Oh, actually, I have to change directory to Streamlit, Streamlit base, and then we will run it. So the reason when you run this, it's expecting you to be within the folder that's fetched from GitHub. That's a thing to keep in mind. So if you let's say, so this is when you get into the machine, you basically are on the lowest level. You're at the root basically. So when you fetch the repo, it will create a new folder, and you will see it here. So if you type ls, you will see that the folder is right there. So if you want to go into it, or basically if I want to run this from this stage, I cannot type. If I write the streamlit run streamlit.py, it will not work, because it will not find the file. It will not find streamlit.py because it's not in the current folder that I'm in. So I have to change it to Streamlit base. So I have to use cd change d, and now when I type ls, it will be a Streamlit.py right there. So if I run this once again, Streamlit run py, it will be up and running, and it's working as expected. Fantastic. Okay, so yeah, that's basically it. It's not all too much to do. If you want to push a new version, we can do that as well. So let's say I want to change this to Streamlit deployment the best. So I will change this data visualizations here to Streamlit deployments are the best. And we will take this, we will go to our GitHub, we will push it, we will say new update bug fix. It's not really a bug fix. You get the drill. So we will push it, and it will appear here on our beloved. Let's see. Oh, I just go with the link I have above. Yes, there's my repo. Fantastic. So it updated 22 seconds ago. That's great. So let's dive into this. What happened to it? Oh, it's right there. Okay, great. So now we will use git pull in order to fetch this one. Okay, so doing the pull will it will look something like the following. You will have this code, you will fill in some information, and it will look like this. So, no, like that. Okay, so that's great. So it connected once again. It says that one file changed. We had the 5 insertions, 2 deletions. And that's great. That's just outstanding. So let's see if we're running is once again streamlit.py. Actually I'm running. Yes, it's working. Never mind, I thought I was in the wrong folder, but so let's see if this updates as well. Yes, Streamlit deployments are the best. So this is just outstanding. So all of a sudden you can send this IP address to your manager or whatever stakeholder wants to consume your dashboard, and yeah, that's great. So I hope it will deliver value to your flow. And if you have also another thing here, I realized I have a way to reset the versioning control. So if you have some issues, you can reset it. You can also use rebase, but it's basically out of scope for this video. And in the future also I will dive into how to use GitHub Actions, and it will allow you to avoid being inside AWS as much, because it's probably the most boring part. Usually data scientists want to spend time creating great insights and not spend all too much time working on like a software engineering data flow. But even though that's exciting, you want to spend time with the creation parts. Great. Okay. Thank you all for watching. If you thought this was useful, please give me a comment and perhaps a like. And I will see you in a following video. I will do the GitHub Actions if I get some response. So yeah, looking forward to that. See you guys.